All right, welcome back to the channel. All right, I told you so, and other people told you so as well, but Clarissa Shields was getting set up for the fall by a juice monster who was accused of having been born a male and just failed a VADA test. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Subscribers, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell icon. Also, thank you so much to everybody that has joined as a member of the channel. Thank you to everybody that is on the Patreon page. We got great content coming up on the Patreon page in production. Also, thank you so much to everybody that comes by the live streams Monday through Friday and OG Boxing Talk on Sunday with myself, my partner Blood Boxing, Trap House Boxing, KQKC Boxing, and my man, the boxing historian, Curtis Anderson. Definitely check us out coming up Sunday morning at 8 a.m. All right, so let's get into this. I did a video maybe 2 weeks ago, whenever it was that Cruz fought Jimenez for the 168-pound title. The next morning or the Monday morning after that, there was a former opponent of Jimenez that it was claimed that Jimenez was born a man. She's like, look, don't nobody walk around sounding like that. You know, there's nothing about her, nothing about Jimenez that looks like a woman. She walks like a man. She sounds like a man. She's got, you know, like this really deep bass voice. I've not actually seen her. I've not actually seen heard Jimenez talk. So I'm just telling you what they said. So there was a big to-do about that and whether or not she was actually, you know, a male or not. Now, the WBC came out and said that was just a terrible thing to say, and there was a significant amount of prejudice involved in those accusations. And my take was this: hey, that stuff happens. That's the world we live in now. There's all kind of people, all kind of kids in high school that decide that they were misassigned at birth, and they wind up wrestling in the female division, running track in the female division, right? I haven't heard of it in basketball yet, and I suspect they'd stay away from basketball, because if they allowed somebody to do that, there'd be beer bottles thrown at high school games in the United States. But I wouldn't be surprised if that started to happen eventually. It's just something that's taken place, whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it. You cannot deny that is something that is actually taking place. So when the person said that they believed that was the case, I didn't think that was being hateful. I thought that was just a situation where they believed that was the case, right? And if it's the case, they should know. This is not track and boxing. It's not track and field. It's not. You're just not getting outrun, right? You're not just getting in wrestling. I mean, there is some physicality to it in wrestling, but you're not in wrestling, high school wrestling, or that just freestyle wrestling. You're not getting knocked unconscious. They're not straight trying to punch you and short circuit you. The risk of death in wrestling is significantly less than in something where you're getting struck in the head, right? Now, obviously, in wrestling, if they decided that you could just continue with a chokehold for a long time, it'd be possible. But I hope that you understand my point. Any way it goes, that is something that was reasonable to ask. So when yesterday it came out that VADA had informed the WBC that this lady Jimenez had tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug, it was like, okay, maybe that is maybe that's what happened. Maybe she isn't a man. Maybe she's just taking a lot of testosterone, which would make you sound like a man. Because as you know, testosterone is a hormone that is produced in the body in greater amounts by men, and the counterpart to testosterone is estrogen, and there's significantly more estrogen produced in females than there are in men, and that, according to the standard, the widely accepted tenets of the scientific community, is what will manifest male physical characteristics versus female physical characteristics. So it might just be the case that, hey, all right, that's what it is. She tested positive. That also, if I was being a real big time conspiracy theorist, I would say, oh, well, maybe that's just a cover up. She's really a dude, but they wanted to explain it. So, but that would just be wild fun, but wild speculation. So as of now, we'll say, okay, maybe it still doesn't answer the question of not whether or not she's a man, but it does answer a question about how, why she sounds like that, and it adds credence to the viewpoint of the lady that said it or that made that observation originally, and the manager of that fighter that made that observation, and other fighters that made that observation about Jimenez. Now, as far as what it means for me is like, I was like, yeah, okay, they're trying to set up a Clarissa Shields versus Jimenez fight when Jimenez is, okay, she might not be a male, but she was juiced to the gills. That absolutely kills that fight. It's not a fight that I think that Clarissa Shields is trying to take anyway, because she's down in the 154-pound division looking to fight. I'm not sure who she's looking to fight. There's mention of Cecilia. There's the whole conversation going on with Cecilia Brækhus. Katie Taylor is there, but Katie, Clarissa, it appears as if Cecilia Brækhus is going to fight Katie Taylor at a catchweight, and Katie Taylor is too small to get up to 154 pounds or to 147 pounds to fight Clarissa Shields. Doesn't appear as if Clarissa Shields is willing to move down to 147, or that Cecilia Brækhus is willing to move up to 154 to fight somebody that has come down from 168, right? So it just puts a lot of questions around what Clarissa Shields is going to do next. Fortunately for Clarissa Shields, though, there's really not a lot of big name female fighters. So with the amount of support that she has, specifically in the United States, among many people who are subscribed to this channel, the love for Clarissa Shields is out there. The GWOAT, T-Rex the GWOAT, is shining right now out here in these United States of America. So I'm quite sure whoever she fights, she's going to continue to get growing support, because she's doing an excellent job of marketing herself. The whole concept of her being the greatest woman of all time and all that's helps spread her name, helps with it. She also is doing things which I don't believe she could possibly be. Well, if she's serious about it, I would advise her not to be serious about. Saying that she wants to fight Amanda Nunez in, I think she said first in boxing and then in the ring, or one time in MMA and then in boxing. Don't do that. Man, please do not do that. I do not want to see Amanda Nunez do that much damage to Clarissa Shields. I listened to Amanda Nunez's press conference, and I know I'm late to the show on this, but I was listening to Amanda Nunez's press conference when she was asked about Clarissa Shields, and that lady looked pissed. She said, "Why would you want to take me out of my world? If you want to fight me, no, I'm not boxing you. You want to fight me, you come to MMA. And if you come into MMA, I'm going to submit the shit out of you." I ain't trying to box. And then somebody said, well, what if Clarissa Shields had 6 months to train? She's like, 6 months? You see that girl I just whooped? 6 years, and she still don't know how to defend a takedown after 6 years. No, don't do it. Don't do it with her, man. That's that woman right there. That's the top women's fighter in the world right now is Amanda Nunez, in my book, as far as combat sports, because she really has knocked off. She really did over in MMA for sure has knocked off. She knocked out Chris Cyborg. I do believe she stopped Holly Holmes. She stopped Ronda Rousey when Ronda Rousey was, I think that was a comeback fight for Ronda Rousey after Ronda Rousey got beat up by Holly Holmes. But Amanda Nunez ended Ronda Rousey's career, right? So, and quite honestly, man, I think that a lot of the things that Clarissa Shields is doing right now is Clarissa Shields is mimicking a lot what Ronda Rousey did in order to generate a lot of interest. So, but don't let Amanda Nunez do you like she did Chris Cyborg. Get around you, choke you out. No. Now, as far as throwing them hands, yeah, no. In the boxing ring, she's gonna beat the tar out of Amanda Nunez, but that's just a different thing over there. But anyway, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Jimenez. Whether or not Cruz is just gonna flat out get her belt back, which should be the case. Shouldn't be any. We're just gonna, we'll make it vacant and order a rematch. None of that, man. Just they tested positive. Just give it up, okay? However, I will say this: that it's not a surefire thing that the WBC would do that, because I do remember when there was, I think it was Yamanaka. Was it Yamanaka that fought Luis Nery, and Luis Nery popped dirty afterwards? I don't know if Yamanaka got that. I think it's Yamanaka was the name of the guy. I don't know if Yamanaka got his belt right back when Nery popped dirty or not, but I know they had a rematch. I'm not sure how that happened, but we'll see what happens with it. Hopefully, Cruz just gets her belt back and she can go on, keep fighting. And if she wants a rematch, Jimenez, that's cool, whatever. But I don't see Clarissa Shields fighting Jimenez without a lot of testing and a birth certificate and probably a Y chromosome test. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out.